Kenya, East Africa. Independent since 1963, it is considered to be a politically stable country. Driven by strong growth, Kenya is also the primary economic force in the region. It has also played a leading role in creating a free trade zone area with Tanzania and Uganda. It is within this relatively politically and economically stable but at times unpredictable context that an embassy must carry out its mission of representation, negotiation, cooperation and protection. Nairobi lies 1,700 meters above sea level. It has a consistently moderate, humid climate. Until 2009, the Swiss embassy in Nairobi occupied premises in a tower block in the town center. Given that Kenya is a strategic territory in the region, in 2009 the Swiss government decided to acquire land in Nairobi's residential suburbs, 11 kilometers north of the city center. The site comprises 4,000 square meters sloping northeast, full of lush vegetation. An architectural competition was launched, open to both Swiss and foreign architectural practices. When Christian Meder and Philip Rösli started working on their submission for the Nairobi Embassy competition, they had never set foot on Kenyan soil. What is truly astonishing is how the two architects came up with a design for an unusual building based on a purely theoretical, even formal, perception of the site, without ever visiting or surveying it. It all began with a simple, pencil-drawn line, a line that then snakes back on itself. A line that became a building. The new edifice was intended to be adapted to the vegetation and morphology of the site. It would thread through the trees and respect the varying gradients. There was no question of demolishing, leveling the ground, or uprooting trees to facilitate the building's construction. The guiding idea for the design of the building was to respect the existing vegetation, thus to abandon any notion of subjugating it. This is because vegetation is an integral part of the site's identity. Trees are central to Kenyan culture. It is also a way of acknowledging the otherness of the host country. When we started this project, the first question we asked ourselves was how to represent today's Switzerland, what image of the country to convey. We also asked ourselves what aspects of Switzerland would be exported through this building and what we should be preserving of what was already here in Kenya. In other words, are we simply building a Swiss enclave in another country? Should we be thinking about the way the embassy could integrate into the environment and country based on the site itself? An embassy generally comprises two clearly distinct parts. First, the outer wall, which protects. Then, the body of the building, a space for negotiation and representation, which is tucked inside this protective wall. If the building was designed as a spiral, it could both protect and thread its way through. But Meder and Rösli pushed this paradigm even further by developing their embassy's outer wall to actually contain the building. The boundary between the outer wall and the building is blurred. One might even ask, when exactly does the wall stop and the building begin? Is the wall itself inhabited? The building outer wall is like a structure that unfolds within and moves through the site. The architect asserts the organic unity between outer wall and building. The gentle spiraling form allows for protecting the institution from the outside with its 2.50 m walls, while also offering a sculptural dimension amidst the lush vegetation. The interior, all clean lines, is calm, comfortable, welcoming. On closer inspection, the building, particularly when seen from above, gives the impression of being both geometric with its polygonal discontinuities and zoomorphic. So the building might also call to mind a stylized serpent or salamander. The embassy thus appears to be articulated like a primitive sculpture, with its straight lines and darting angles. The building's monochromatics underscore this reference to a vernacular art. In Kenya, the landscape is striking for two basic colors: the intense ferrous red of the soil and the striking green of the vegetation. The building seeks to attain unity between a modernist architectural vision and a consideration of certain givens of certain characteristics of East Africa, such as the color red, a kind of noble archaism, or the geometry of plant architecture. So the choice of materials was key. Right from the start, it had to be exposed concrete. Exposed concrete is a protective and hard-wearing material. At the same time, it can be very sculptural, even playful, which endows it with a kind of lightness. Moreover, chromatically speaking, it can be treated to echo the red of the Kenyan soil. We are situated here in a residential area, clearly neither a business district nor an industrial zone. We wanted the project to take the immediate environment into account. For example, you will have noticed that from the roadside, the building has only one story. We respected the topography of the site so that the building espouses the site's varying gradients, going from 1 to 2 stories. We also wanted to avoid the neighbors feeling that Switzerland had come here to build some kind of highly imposing palace. On the contrary, our building displays a kind of sober restraint, in a very Swiss way, I may say. At the same time, and this was also part of the brief, the embassy offers an image of Switzerland that is open and modern. This connection to the landscape and vegetation is likewise enhanced by large picture windows which punctuate the facades, like openings to the outside, to nature. So this dialectic between protection and openness is sustained. These large windows, when seen from the park, offer a truly delightful play of reflections with the trees. Note also that the windows are topped by concrete cornices, protecting the interior of the building from the strong zenithal daylight, Kenya being close to the equator. The impact of sunlight is thus naturally softened, indeed broken up, by the structure of the facade. So there is no need for blinds to regulate temperature. Cornices prevent overheating while preserving the luminosity of the space. The building's isolation is also an important element of the design. Thanks to the concrete, the building's thermal mass is such that, given Nairobi's constant climate, the embassy is thermally autonomous, with no need for air conditioning or external heating. In other words, the building in both its construction and usage is designed in an ecological and sustainable way. The idea of a collaboration with local businesses, of a knowledge exchange, all the while retaining high technical standards, is central to the philosophy of the building. It was in effect jointly built by Kenyan and Swiss companies. The process was cooperative, with a transfer of skills. In this respect, the embassy is both a window onto the other and a protective enclave, both peace-loving with respect for its host country and at the same time irreducible, since it represents another country and must negotiate, protect, and convey a particular image.